Well, I'm joined here with Frank Macias, or a lot of people call you Frankie.
Yes, Frankie. Yep.
And I love your slogan. You have the slogan on your shirt. What's your slogan?
Do your mouth a flavor.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome. And of course, we're gonna get into where you started. But let's just talk about how many businesses you have open right now, because you have businesses scattered throughout the RGV now, which originally started at a food truck.
Yeah. No, we started with the food truck in Harlingen, Texas, maybe in the year of 2016, and it's like we caught a wave. And every year we opened up a restaurant, and now we're up to 6 restaurants with the food truck still.
And why do you think that is? What was that wave that you feel like really stuck with the people?
I know when I opened the food truck, I wanted to do a good burger. So I know everybody likes a good burger. So that's what drew people to our food truck. And me and my brother-in-law, Chris, kind of were sitting in the truck, and we decided to let's make different burgers. And from there, it just progressed from, 2 or 3 burgers. Now we're up to like 35 burgers on the menu.
And people love your food. I've tried your food. I love your food. Why do you think that is? What makes your burger stand apart from the rest?
Well, I think the ingredients we use, we incorporate different flavors. We have a South Texas little flavor, we use cilantro, queso fresco, and then we make our patties in-house. They're fresh, handly made. And then, everybody, all the cooks that I've hired, they've come in, they adapted to our concept, and they love the style of craft burgers that we're making, and I think that, shows on our plates.
And I love how you mentioned craft, because there's a lot of things on the menu, especially the names.
Yes.
The names you guys have are fantastic.
Yeah.
That you don't see anywhere else. And I've noticed that you've dipped into other areas besides burgers as well.
Yeah, we've done barbecue. It's kind of taken off a little slow because when we brought in, we took over a restaurant, and it was around COVID. So, but we opened it up in Westlaco as well. We do barbecue there. It's really taken off. And that's something we're going to incorporate here in the McAllen area as well, our barbecue. So we're excited to bring barbecue and our craft burgers to McAllen.
Now, let's just talk a little bit about where you started, because I'm curious. Everybody grows up with, I want to do this, I want to do this. When did you realize, I want to have a restaurant?
To be honest, I was going to school at TSCC to be a nurse. And they had a culinary program. And I've always loved cooking. I had a passion for cooking. And my wife, Cindy, I told her, hey, look, I like this culinary program. I'm thinking of switching. And she's like, you know what? That's your passion. Go for it. And so I transitioned from nursing into culinary. And from there, I really wanted a food truck. I didn't think I would ever have a restaurant or 2. And it grew. The following was there. Like I said, we make pretty good craft burgers. And from there, people were just coming, demanding burgers, different styles and stuff. And being in Harlingen, we drew a lot of people from the McAllen, Brownsville area. So that's why I'm excited to come to McAllen, because now we're going to be able to bring that craft burger to them here in this location.
And it seems like you had a lot of support from your family throughout all of this.
Oh yeah, so my family's been a big support of everything. My brother-in-law being in the food truck, my sister helps me with my books. My dad helping me with odds and ends and build-outs, because he knows a little bit of construction. He retired last year, so he helps me out a lot.
And where did you get your inspiration from? Because is there any other cooks in the family, or maybe when you were growing up, that there was something that you tried experimenting with?
Well, my dad, he has a background in the restaurant industry or cafeteria. He was at the Valley Baptist for 40 plus years. He would take me to food shows with him. So that's where you get to try different kinds of little foods and knickknacks. And he'd come home and he'd try, he was always good at barbecue like most dads, but he'd make Chinese one day. He'd do Italian one day. And growing up, I always like, oh, that's pretty neat, and I never thought I'd do that. And I, thought, yeah, I'd do it for my family and whatnot. But, doing it for customers, for the public, it's pretty awesome.
Now let's talk about, you said you started in a food truck. And starting a business in general is not easy. What are some of the struggles that you endured?
Yes, coming out of a food truck or starting a food truck, it's scary because you have to depend on your business and what location you're going to be at, and if the elements are going to be there. If it's cold and raining, you're not going to get any business. But you just got to weather that storm. You're going to catch some events as well that are going to be a hit. You're going to catch some that are not going to, be as much of a hit. You just got to roll with the punches and, take what's given And when it is, the opportunity's there, you gotta present, the best food to, the best food you can at any moment.
And you started in a food truck, and now then you had businesses in Harlingen, then Weslaco, and now McAllen. Do you see this branching out further than just the Rio Grande Valley?
Our game plan is yes. Last year or a year and a half ago, I brought in a partner, one of my best friends, David. He's out of Austin, and our game plan is to build here in the valley. And then he moved to Austin when he graduated from Harlingen. So we want to go to Austin. We want to go to San Antonio. But we definitely want to hold down the valley first and build the structure, and then we can kind of move forward with that. But being here in the valley with 6 locations has become a big challenge, and we're ready to try to, as soon as the time's right, we'll move to Austin.
Now, I know you mentioned you opened up a barbecue place around the pandemic. Let's talk about some of the struggles you faced as a business in the pandemic, because a lot of businesses closed down in that area, and I'm happy to see that you survived.
Yeah, the pandemic was really a test, to how are you going to deal with this? Because the customers were not there. And being a new restaurant, yes, I was known for my burgers, but a barbecue location was kind of like, okay, they weren't sure if they wanted to try it or not. So I wasn't getting that flow of customer that I was getting at my burger house. So it was a really big challenge. And, we weathered the storm, with curbside and, like everybody else did. But then I think what really helped us is when we had that freeze down there. We were one of the only restaurants open, and people were like, hey, we got to go try it out anyway. So that's what I think helped us out. The word got out.
And I know that this is a question that I know a lot of people might have. Do you still get behind the grill occasionally and make a couple of burgers here and there?
I try, but to be honest, my cooks sometimes tell me to get away because I'm more in the way than anything. Because I will be at a location sometimes and they'll get a little behind and I'll get back there. But to be honest, I'm a lot slower than I used to be on that grill. So I kind of let them do their thing and I'll run the food or whatnot.
And those people who did get those burgers, they probably didn't even know that the original cook was right behind them.
Hey, no, yeah, for sure. I get that a lot. People will be like, oh, wow, Frankie Flav himself is coming out here to deliver. And I'm like, yeah, yes, I am, and it's really awesome, I never thought in my lifetime I'd become who I am, I go out with my family sometimes and people are like, oh, you're Frankie Flavs. And I'm like, yeah, my daughters always roll their eyes like, oh my God, here we go again, So I tell them, hey, it's cool, and they love it too.
And I know we talked about your menu, and there's an awesome menu you guys put together. Where is some of that inspiration coming from? Because it takes a lot to, create these burgers and, to create the flavor profile that you want or envision.
Yeah, so like I said, me and my brother-in-law would always be in the food truck. We would park at call centers, and that's where we found our guinea pigs, you could say. So there's some foodies there, and every time me and my brother-in-law came up with a burger, we'll say, hey, we got a new burger. You want to try it out? I'm like, yeah, let's go. And we let them try it, and we got pretty much thumbs up 98% of the time. A couple of times they're like it needed something, but most of the time, they give us a thumbs up, and that's where we were like always messing around, like the El Luchador. That's one of our popular burgers. That's my take on Whataburger's Monterey Melt. It doesn't have that same sauce, but they had the peppers, they had the onions, and we have a habanero crema that we add to it, but I added cilantro, queso fresco. So, we kind of messed around with ingredients and concepts, and, we took their intake, and it helped a lot.
Let's talk about your favorite burger on the menu, because there's a lot of burgers on the menu, but what is the burger that stands out to you?
El Guapo. El Guapo, it's 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, and it's a burger in the middle with lettuce and tomatoes. So it's kind of like a BLT meets a grilled cheese. Yeah.
That sounds really good.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I don't recommend eating a lot because all that cheese and goodness, but it's really good. It's a delicious burger.
It's a one-time deal.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Your cheat meal.
There you go. Cheat Fridays.
Your cheat meal. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll be there every Friday.
Yeah.
And so, we talked about the inspiration on some of those items on the menu. Is there an item on the menu that was named after somebody in particular, or somebody that really inspired one of those entrees?
I have a couple of burgers there. I have a cousin who helped me because of the whole food truck deal. I bought a food truck and it was never built, so I was kind of ripped off, as you can say. And I had a family member reach out and he helped me with some money to get that food truck going. So I named a burger after him, El Chapa. It's not El Chapo, it's El Chapa. It's a chorizo egg topped on a burger patty. And then there's one called Si Pancho. And my dad is Frank Senior, and all my staff, they call him Pancho, you know, because they always want to separate Frank to Frank, you know. And so when my dad would go to the kitchen, he'd be like, hey, can you make me this burger? And Si Pancho, Si Pancho. And he likes grilled jalapenos, grilled onions with fresh jalapenos and fresh onions. And it has an egg, I believe, on it too, yeah. And so I was like, you know what, that's a good burger. And I put it on the menu, and that one sells a lot. I mean, they all do, but Si Pancho sells a lot. And I get that question asked a lot, like, Si Pancho, what's that from? I'm like, well, my dad, you know, he made this burger up, and I named Si Pancho, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So he's engraved in there.
He's in there. He's in the Flavs of Hall of Fame, I guess you could say.
That Flavs of Hall of Fame, I love that. You need to create like a whole board.
A board of that, right? Yeah.
And speaking of creating a board of flavors, is there another flavor that you're experimenting with that you might bring out soon?
You know, not yet. But, you know, being in McAllen, there's something we wanted to do, bring out to this side of area. So we're working on something. So stay tuned. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Frankie, thank you so much for, of course, speaking to me and taking the time to talk about your business and how important this is to the Rio Grande Valley, because this is not just for yourself and your family, it's for the culture here.
Yes, sir.
And so I greatly appreciate that.
No, thanks, Joe.